What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks NBA Finals Edition. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me in this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Man, we've made it. It's been 84 years. If you're a Denver Nuggets fan, yeah, that was quoting Titanic right from the get-go. What you gonna do about it? But I feel good that we have two teams that 10 people want to watch playing in NBA Finals. It's going to be great. The Nuggets, the Heat. Who'd have thunk it? But not me, not you. But it's been an enjoyable experience, at least. The Game 7 was pretty anticlimactic. We got the ankle rollover from Jason Tatum. And therefore, just easy coasting on into home. Choke City in Boston. Got the Miami Heat there. And then Denver, they haven't played since 1994. So we're going to be sitting there waiting, wishing, hoping you believed in superstitions. Little Jack Johnson. So we're ready to rock here, baby. I've got a lean, I've got a like, I've got a lock for you from this game. Actually, I have two leans. We're going to talk through a couple of scenarios. And no, I'm not throwing series pricing out on this one. I got nothing for you. I'm pretty sure Denver in 4 or 5 makes sense, but like we will continue and talk about all of the scenarios because again, Miami, they've been playing pretty good underdog ball as of late, like since, I don't know, every series of this entire postseason. But BetMGM, they've been fantastic since they introduced their sportsbook. And why? Well, they have some of the best pricing that you're looking for. And when it comes down to it, you're just looking for multiple books to have exposure to. So you can always get the best price every single day, no matter what your bet is. Doesn't matter if it's in baseball or basketball or tennis. We got the French Open going. I almost put in futures on tennis. Gail Monfils. How about that comeback? That was great. Gail Monfils. It was great stuff. You guys don't care. You care about this. 2 free months of premium Odd Shopper Discord access with myself. You get my premium betting card in the MLB NBA streets every single Sunday through Friday. Yes, Sunday through Friday. Saturdays, they're not for the boys, they're for my wife. You get 2 months of premium Odd Shopper Discord access just by signing up over at BetMGM. Those are good things. Myself, Ben Raza, Eitan Shander, Isaiah Soros, so many genius people. I didn't count myself among them. Here at BetMGM that are here to make your life better in the Odd Shopper Discord. So sign up for that. And hey, you're going to get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet loses. Yes, if you bet $50, you're going to get $50 back in bonus bets that you play through. All the way up to $1,000 over at BetMGM. So that's another little extra incentive to check out BetMGM. Hey, you don't like their product? Have fun. You can move along your merry way. But I want you trying out all these sports books so you can get the best price no matter what that play is. Alrighty, y'all. We talked BetMGM. That means we can just fly through our picks because I have a lot to talk about here before we get to Thursday's Game 1. Producer Alicia, let's get to the picks. Here we go. Heat, Nuggets, Game 1, NBA Finals. Wild to see these two teams being the ones here. Obviously, Denver, they were the #1 seed, but I think we've just seen the last couple of seasons where ran into some hiccups, whether it was in the bubble. You end up running into a difficult Lakers situation, and, well, they overcame that one in glorious fashion. 4-0 sweep there in the Western Conference Finals, and the Heat, obviously, up 3-0. Celtics run off 3 in a row. Jason Tatum inside the first ankle, or inside the first quarter, Freudian slip, turns his ankle, and therefore, well, you're looking at Miami Heat. They just ran amok, and, well, Jimmy Butler, pretty insane stuff that we've seen out of him, even though I think you could have made a case for Caleb Martin also winning Eastern Conference MVP, which would have been a wild outcome. 45 minutes, 41 minutes the last two for him. But one thing I do expect in this series, and I think that we have to hit a little bit of the reset button, especially on the Heat side. And people are going to talk about, oh, well, the Nuggets, are they rusty? Well, people can also talk about the Heat. Are they tired? They just played frickin' 7 games in a row, Mr. Bigglesworth. It's pretty wild. But I think what we're looking at here is 3-point shooting. There's going to be a lot of interesting, fascinating points about 3-point shooting, and we're hitting a little bit of the reset button because you can see in a Game 1 situation, more players enter a rotation. We saw 45 minutes from Caleb Martin. I'm not going to project Caleb Martin for 45 minutes like we saw in that Game 7 win. You're going to see a lot of those minutes, a little bit of the ceiling comes down on, and I still expect Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo to be playing massive minutes, over 40 minutes for this basketball team. But aside from those two, I think we're going to be looking at Miami trying to install some different ways of attacking this Denver team. Now, they're 8.5-point dogs, 9-point dogs, depending on what sports book you're looking at. The total, 219.5, which looks perfectly efficient. If I had to drop a total before this one, That's about where I would be dropping it. So we are going to be steering clear of the atmosphere over that one. But I think the one curious little George thing, the curious little monkey that I have in, on my back trying to figure out what's going on here, Haywood Highsmith. Holy mother of God, did he look good in that game 5. Then game 7, started to play some rotation minutes again. We saw 9 minutes from him. He's looked awesome defensively. And I think if you're running into some wings in Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon creating some kind of havoc, I think he's your absolute wild card type dude. I'm curious if they're going to drop props for him coming into tomorrow because, well, there's a lot of situations where I think Kevin Love just doesn't end up being a part of this series. He had been starting at the beginning, didn't even see the floor there in game 7. And now Kyle Lowry, what do those minutes look like? Tyler Hero's coming back. It sounds like for game 3, he's ramping up his basketball activities. Lots of underneath storylines here on the Miami side that I think are very intriguing that I'm going to be paying very close attention to. But assuming we get the same starting unit there from game 7, the pieces that I'm looking as ancillary pieces, how do we handle Kyle Lowry props? How do we handle... Yeah, I'm seriously looking at him. Haywood Highsmith props. And hey, Duncan Robinson been closing out basketball games. Closed out game 6, closed out game 7, played 28 minutes in game 5, even though they were getting waxed there towards the end. So I'm not going to call it closing. I just feel like, I don't know, there's a number of these ancillary pieces. Kevin Love, Cody Zeller, do they see the rotation in any way, shape, or form? Zeller, I'm thinking, is still going to back up Bam Adebayo, but again, do not be shocked if we see Haywood Highsmith. I would not be shocked to see Haywood Highsmith, based on these matchups on the Denver side, play more than what you expect. Now, we should probably talk about Denver. They're massive favorites for the series. We're talking minus 300. You can only get 6-1 on a sweep. Yeah, we're seeing some pretty heavy money coming in on the Denver side of things, and I think it's appropriate. No doubt about it. Nikola Jokic, he's kind of been pretty good at basketball, but Jamal Murray, towards the end of that last series, I mean, even went 0 for 4, it didn't even matter. 10 for 18 from the floor, 25, 5, and 3 in that closeout, close win there in game 4. Pretty encouraging stuff if you're a Nuggets fan to see Jamal Murray playing at this kind of a clip. He had just torched it from 3 leading into it, 4 for 8, 6 for 14, 5 from 11. We've had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope step up and kind of be that guy for this team. We've seen Bruce Brown close over Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in some spots, but we are going to just get heavy minutes out of those main 6 because once you get to the Christian Browns, the Thomas Bryants, the Jeff Greens, it's just not a very good basketball team sitting behind there. Their bench is not what you're looking for whatsoever. Again, Thomas Bryant doesn't even play. Should have just said Jeff Green and left it at that. Is what it is. You know what I'm getting at. We're seeing 6 players, Jokic, Murray, Porter Jr., Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Bruce Brown. They're going to be playing the lion's share of the minutes, but unlike the Miami Heat, I think that definitely makes some of their props a little bit more efficient, and that's where we start with the lean category. Yes, lots of setup for this one, but it's the beginning of a series. Want to talk through a couple of the scenarios, and, well, pace going to also be something to be paying attention to in this one, and why? Well, seems like every series with the Miami Heat, we're seeing games go under early on at times where the pace just comes and plummets. 96.3 possessions per 48 minutes during the regular season. It's been right around that over the course of this postseason, and defensively, they're just bringing it. 113.4 adjusted defensive rating. That's gone up as well in this postseason. Just shut down a very serviceable Boston Celtics team there. In games 1 through 3, game 7, great stuff from them to even find a series win there. And, well, Denver brings a lot more ammunition to the table, but they do have some longer, more lengthy type guards instead of Marcus Smart, instead of some of those other pieces on the Miami side. But, like, what I'm getting at, you had Dennis Schroeder playing on-ball defense. You had D'Angelo Russell playing on-ball defense. Smaller guards. Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. These are some bigger bodies, some more defensively minded bodies, and then Jimmy Butler, of course, in pick and roll or in switching type scenarios on the perimeter as well. Going to be very interesting how this team matches up against Denver, and it comes down to how do they handle Jamal Murray. You can't go under the pick and roll with Jamal Murray. He'll just punish you at this point in time. You have wing shooters. You have specifically Michael Porter Jr. out there on the corner who can knock down shots, and that's just where Jokic is creating, Jamal Murray can create. It's going to be very difficult, but 26.5 points for Jamal Murray as the baseline here. I don't think we see immediately 43, 42, 43 minutes like we saw in that game 2, 3, and 4. We saw very competitive games there. He played 37 in the game 1 right from the get-go. And if you want to talk rust, you want to talk something of that nature, so be it. But he averaged 34 minutes during the regular season. You can increase that. I'm going to put him at 38.5 minutes for this game. Just adjusting his points per game there to an average rating. Like we're talking average matchup, average for the regular season. That puts him at just 24.2 points. Now, 26.5 gives me over 2 points of a buffer. You would think automatically firing that one up, but I'm showing a little bit of precaution on it. So Jamal Murray goes into the lean department under 26.5, in addition to the the one bet I'm thinking about making on an outright, Denver minus 8.5. I do think this Miami team, everybody's going to talk about, Mike Malone's talking about it constantly. Oh, we're going to be rusty. You can't simulate in basketball, NBA game, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? Miami just got done with a very, very intense series that went way longer than it should have, probably for both teams, which is a wild thing to say. But Denver minus 8.5 is definitely the preferred side of this one. I could see them going out and just blitzing Miami right from the jump. However, it doesn't project out that well. So it's more of a gut play. And guess what? I don't bet based on my gut or what I think is going to happen. It's based on modeling. It's based on shopping for the best price over at OddsShopper. That, friends, makes 8.5 not all that appealing, although there are some 9s around. So you got to know that at least 8.5, I think that's the right way to be getting at it. If you're going to be on the Miami side, you better be betting 9 or you're out of your mind. So there you go. Let's jump to the light category here. Let's talk bets that I'm actually making. And Jimmy Butler. He played a lot this last series. I didn't think he was going to leave the floor last game. He did for a little bit. 43 minutes that we got out of him. 47 in the game 6 previous to it. But he had played 34, 39, 31 minutes. And that's just what happens when you get in some of these wonky game scripts where Miami is going to get blown out in a game of this series. I think we can all see that and envision in the scenario where Miami loses by 20, right? We all can picture that. Well, then what are we doing with an efficient number here that I think this is at 40.5 and not taking into account some of those game scripts where it just gets berserk? And I think that there's just an edge to be had. This is jumping out in terms of expected value over at OddsShopper, and that aligns with projections. And that's when I get excited, especially because the juice is inside of minus 110 over at FanDuel Sportsbook. We're talking minus 104 on the under of 40.5 PRA for Jimmy Butler. I think defensively, they're going to throw a lot of different looks at Jimmy Butler. He isn't going to be a knockdown three-point shooter. We saw him go 3 for 7 in that game 7. Boston made him shoot threes. We'll see. We'll see if Miami just feels like they're going to just throw Jimmy Butler out there and have him be a willing shooter out there on the perimeter. Did go 2 for 4 from 3 in that game 6, although game 6, I think he played pretty atrocious personally. 5 for 21 from the field, 24, 11, and 8. That would have been one of the worst triple-doubles you had ever seen a basketball player put together, which is kind of ironic and will lead us to our last play. But Jimmy Butler, in this spot, I'm projecting right around 36.4. So we're talking about this could be borderline lock territory at this kind of a number. And part of that is just adjusting the minutes from where they were last time around in the last series, 43, 44, to around 38. You can't be projecting him for a whole lot more than that, I think, in this spot. Maybe they just run him into the ground and Miami is the dog, but I'm not going to project him for more than 42, 43 minutes in a spot like this. And that gets me on the under of Jimmy Butler, 40.5 plus. Again, blowout risk involved. Well, we've made it to the favorite child of the program, and this has been since January 1st. I can remember when the calendar turned over. And there were some very noticeable things. One, Jamal Murray's minutes started to go up. I talked about how he averaged 34 during the regular season, but in this calendar season, not only did we see the minutes go up, but we saw Jamal Murray, his efficiency and his legs get under him, and he played himself back into elite basketball player shape. And why does that matter? Because when you're Nikola Jokic and you get freebie assists, you're going to triple-double at a crazy clip. Now, let's take you on a little bit of a journey since then, okay? So let's just cover the playoffs alone. 8 triple-doubles, 6 in his last 8 games, a number of ways for him to go out and absolutely spank you. It's not going to be good for the Miami Heat. And I get everybody talking about, oh, Bam Adebayo versus Nikola Jokic. This is what's going to make the series. And Bam, he's athletic. He's long. He's going to make it tough. Nobody's going to make it tough on Nikola Jokic because he can affect the basketball game in so many ways. And with the health of Jamal Murray, with his health and the dimension he adds to this basketball team, that's the biggest difference between the last 2 seasons. We have a healthy Jamal Murray for the first time in a very, very long time. And that creates extra assist opportunities. That creates floor spacing for Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, and the likening to knock down open shots. So what are we doing with this line here? Nikola Jokic should not be even money to triple-double. It's a fact. We're over that, right? He got up to plus 290 against Phoenix, and that was the lock of all locks that we had on this program in the premium Discord. We put 2 units on that mother trucker. Yeah, that mother trucker. It was beautiful stuff. I'm such a South Dakota sissy. It's fine. Don't mind me. I'm lovely. Plus 290 in that game. It was game 3 against Phoenix. You then had him triple-double both of those last 2 games against Phoenix. And then 3 of 4 against the Lakers. We bet it every single time. I think it's going well. He was minus 135 and minus 130 in 2 of those games specifically. And yes, fewer possessions, such is life, but I have him projected for 11.5 assists. And that, my friends, creates a chasm where you just bet the assists, but more specifically, getting a lower number there where you don't have to go to that. You just take the triple-double, you move on with your life. Nikola Jokic, the triple-double. Feel like this has been a lock on this program a lot. It's been a lock on this program a lot. Producer Alicia's like, yes, you have done that like 5,000 times. I'm sick of hearing this shit. Can we please have the NBA season be done with? No, we cannot. We shall not. We shall bet it. We shall destroy. I don't know. Nikola Jokic triple-double. Game 1 lock. Enjoy it, friends. See you back here for I'll be game 3. I'm not here for game 2 on the weekend. Enjoy Aton. Goodbye. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your series play if you have one. I don't have one for this NBA Finals. Let me know what you think the winning score will be. We could have some giveaway stuff coming up here shortly. I'm trying to put something together here for some of these closeout games. I really want to know what you guys are interested in betting. Gonna be some fun times in the premium Discord. You can get that over at BetMGM. Sure, we're gonna have some offers, some giveaways, some other things for the NBA Finals because, hey, it only comes around once a year, and it is a beautiful couple of weeks here. Well, potentially a couple of weeks. Could also just be a week. Nuggets do what they're supposed to do. I don't know. Miami just wins a lot of games they're not supposed to, too. It's great stuff. Only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Wanted to throw that in here for you, BetMGM people. Alrighty, y'all. I'll be back for Game 3. You've got a ton over the weekend, so enjoy. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets, or Game 1 of the NBA Finals.